Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new then welcome. My name is Sarah and I am a flower farmer in East Yorkshire in the UK. And today is Friday and I am thinking of picking a few flowers for my honesty box, which is at the top of our farm driveway, and I thought I would take you along with me because I thought it would be interesting for you maybe to see what I'm picking at the moment. This year is a little bit different to other years because I don't have a lot of flowers available now, which is mid to late May. Usually I'm picking a lot of flowers from mid-April onwards, but we had a really dry, cold April followed by a really wet May, and we still haven't had really warm temperatures and sunshine, so the flowers are a little bit late this year and a little bit shorter, so I haven't been picking a lot, but I will be picking some flowers for my honesty box today. So I will talk you through what I'm picking and maybe how I'm picking it, and then we will arrange them into bunches and put them on the honesty box as well. So there's a couple of things that I am picking from this front field at the moment, which is where I have a few perennials, and the first thing I'm going to pick is this geum, which is called Mai Tai, and I've noticed that it has some softer growth on it, some newer softer growth, and some older growth which seems a little bit more rigid. It's got more rigid stems, and you'll feel it if you touch it. You can tell that the stems are a lot more rigid. So I'm just making the cut as low as possible on the plant, and it's got quite a decent length stem on it. I'm hoping, because I only put these in last autumn, I'm hoping that next season they'll get a bit taller. Next up for picking are these lovely lupins, and this is the first time that I've really grown lupins properly in a full bed, and these were sown, I believe, last spring and planted out last summer, and we had a couple of stems from a couple of them in autumn, but now they're really starting to flower. And usually I'm not a purple kind of girl, but these ones are really lovely. I don't know whether you'll be able to pick it up on camera, but they're really gentle purple colour, and then they have some veining in the flowers as well, and then a sort of like a hint of orange as well, which just looks really, really gorgeous. So stripping the stems, and I'll show you, this is the kind of purple I really don't like. This dark purple. I tend not to pick things that I don't like the colour of, but sometimes they surprise me and they go really well in bunches, and we'll just have to see how it goes. So yeah, as I said, usually I don't like purple, but there's been a couple of occasions where I've put a bouquet together with some purple flowers and I've really liked it. So we will give everything a chance, and I'm going to pick quite a few of these lupins today. This Verbascum Southern Charm is probably going to flower next week, I think. And the Ox Eye Daisies, I think that they will flower next week. Close to flowering. If we get a warm day, they might just start flowering. The Achillea is quite close to flowering. And then I grew some valerian last year, and this is supposed to be the flower weed that grows everywhere, and a lot of it died off over winter, and the actual flowers survived, so maybe it's not so resilient after all. Maybe my soil is that bad. So I was thinking that I might cut some artichokes, but actually I think I'm going to leave them for a little bit longer. I sometimes cut the leaves to use in bunches, and I also use the actual fruit or vegetable part of it, the flower, but I think I'm going to leave it for today. And I've picked everything that's flowering in the field at the moment. Maybe next week we'll have something different. Maybe I'll make another one of these videos to show you what I'm picking next week, but what I'm going to do now is go across to the polytunnel and pick some sweet williams and some ranunculus. So here I am round the back of the farm, coming to pick some flowers from the polytunnel, and there's just a couple of things that I wanted to mention, which is that normally on hot sunny days or in the summer particularly, I'm not so worried about it today because it's quite overcast and cool, but usually I would make sure that I get up really early on picking days and make sure that it's nice and cool, and I pick early in the morning so that the flowers are retaining as much water as possible before I pick them, and then they're not going to droop over. And we would condition them anyway in a cool shed or a cool dark place, just so that the flowers have a chance to take up lots of water. But what time is it now? It's about 9:30 in the morning now, but I'm not too worried about the flowers because it is quite a cool overcast day. But in the summer I'm getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to pick flowers, and we always cut into really cool fresh water and clean buckets, just to make sure that we don't get any bacteria and things into the plant stems, which is going to reduce the vase life. So in here it is a little bit of a mess where the ranunculus are concerned, because I'm really having trouble with thistles, and because the weed membrane is down, it's really difficult for me to get those thistles out. So what I'm going to do is let the ranunculus finish flowering. They've been really pathetic this year, I'm not going to lie, so I'm not too concerned about them. I'm going to let them finish flowering, and then I'm going to pull them all up and flip the bed ready for another annual that's going to go in there, probably stocks or phlox or zinnias or something like that. So apologies for all of the weed mess in here, but I'm going to pick what ranunculus I can. I don't know whether there's going to be that many, and I'm going to pick the sweet williams from behind me as well. I think for some reason I only have the white variety, which I'm not too bothered about because white goes with everything pretty much. But yeah, I'm picking mainly white, and then also we have some marjoram and oregano here that's getting really tall. It's taller than it's ever been in the polytunnel, and I'm not going to pick that just yet because I'm really looking forward to it going into flower. I'm not sure when that's going to be, maybe in the next couple of weeks, we'll see. So those are this morning's pickings. Like I said, I'm not picking a lot at this time of year, which is a bit of a shame, but I will be making these probably into 3 or 4 bunches. I'm not quite sure yet because I didn't count the stems just yet. But what I'm going to be doing now is leaving these for a few hours. I think I'm actually going to take them off the worktop where they are in the sun and just pop them in the corner where it's a bit darker and just leave them to condition for a few hours, and then I'll probably come back to them this afternoon and put them into bunches, and I will show you. I've got a video on my channel already about how I wrap my bunches, but maybe this will be better quality, I'm not sure. But I'll come back later on and I'll show you how I'm wrapping my bunches. So it's getting towards the end of the day now, and I'm going to, well, I've already put a bunch together. Ooh. And I'm going to probably be able to put maybe 2 more together now. So what I'm going to do is lay out all of the varieties of flowers on the desk behind me and make sure all the stems are stripped, and then it's just easier to pick them up off the table variety by variety. So I've just finished putting 1 bunch together, and I've just set it to the side, but I haven't wrapped it yet. And I'm just going to make a second bunch, and then I will show you how I'm wrapping them. So there are my 2 bunches ready to be wrapped, and the other week I ordered one of these craft roll dispensers, and it has been handy. However, the finish on the paper where it slices it isn't as clean as it was when I was cutting it with a knife, so I'm wondering whether you can get a blade for it that isn't serrated. We'll have to see. And then behind me here I have all my tissue paper and everything, so in this case I am going to put tissue paper on my honesty box bunches, but I don't usually do it. I'm just being extra nice for the bank holiday weekend. What I do is, if you've seen my other video, is I will cut a slice into my paper and then fold it up like this, and it makes it a lot easier for me to wrap the bunches up. So I will do that with my tissue paper and with this brown paper as well. So I'll show you how I'm doing that now. Oh, and the other thing is that I stamp my paper with my logo stamp, my blue and grey stamp, just so that everybody knows where they get their beautiful flowers from. So I've got my tissue paper ready, and I'm just getting a couple of bits of sellotape ready so that I can, my hands, when I'm holding onto the bouquet, I don't need to start cutting anything while I've got my hands on a bouquet. So what I'll do is first lay the bouquet on the paper like so, and then tuck the corner of the tissue paper up to the top corner of the bouquet, and then wrap it, tape it, and then I'll just flip it over and do the same thing that I did with the tissue paper with the brown paper. And And there we have it. A beautiful little bunch of flowers. Nicely wrapped. So there we have it, 3 fresh bunches, freshly picked this morning, grown by me, grown on this farm, and packed in my rustic packaging. And I'm really loving this pink tissue paper at the moment. I think it looks really good with the tutti frutti colours of the bouquets with the oranges and the purples and things. It's not actually a colour palette that I would usually go for, but I'm really enjoying that, especially with the tissue paper and everything. It looks really nice once it's wrapped. So I'm going to put these flowers out. I think I might put them out in the morning now on my honesty box, because it's getting a little bit later on now. Everybody's probably already headed home from work and it is starting to rain as well. But when I put them out tomorrow morning, I will show you how my honesty box works. So I have a cash honesty box, like most honesty boxes, and I also have a way that people can pay online. So I will explain that if anybody has an honesty box or is thinking about setting up an honesty box, it might be good to know. So I will share that with you tomorrow morning when I'm putting these bunches out on the honesty box. So here I am at the top of the driveway. Here's the entrance to our farm, and my honesty box is here at the top of the driveway, and it has holes cut in it for the buckets, and then there's some information on the back about how much the flowers are, how to care for them and things. So I'm just going to take this old bucket away and replace it with the new bucket that is full of flowers. So if people want to pay online, I have made a page on my website called Honesty Box. So it's bloomandgrey.co.uk/honestybox, and on there it is like a shop front, and I put items in the shop that represent what is in my honesty box. So at the moment I have £10 bunches on the honesty box, so you can go on the website and just click on a £10 bunch, put it in your basket, and then you can either pay with PayPal or with your credit card. So it's pretty simple for people to do, and they can do it by the roadside. Some people pick them up and then they wait until they get home to pay for it. But it's a really nice way to sell the flowers from the honesty box, because sometimes, well, people don't carry cash with them much anymore, do they? So it's nice for them, if they're passing and they spot the flowers, they can just pick some up and pay for them as they collect them. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions, then just pop them in the comments and I will get back to you about those. And I hope you have a really nice weekend.